Hey guys, welcome our sixth lesson of our playlist called C Sharp for Beginners. So far, every time we want to do something, we wrote the code directly. But what happens? You need to do the same thing multiple times in different places. Copy pasting gets messy fast. In this video, we're learning about methods, how to package up code into reusable blocks. Let's dive in. Let's start as simple. A method is just a name block of code that we can call whenever we need it. Here's the most basic version. Void greet dot call here. Hello there. Let's run this. As you can see, hello there 3 times. Yes. So void here means this method does not give anything back to us. It just does something. We define it once with a name greet, and then we can recall it as many times as we want using greet. Let's run this. As you can see, we saw the greeting hello there 3 times. Notice how much cleaner this than writing that console.writeLine 3 separate times. Right now, greet method always says the exact same thing. What if we want to greet different people, for example, by their names? Yes, that's where parameters come in. They let us pass information into methods. So let me show the code how exactly it looks like. So we're gonna give a parameter, and first we define its type and then name it. And we replace name here, and then we can call, for example, here Alex, John, and Jane. Yes, let's run this. Hello Alex, hello John, and hello Jane. Yes. So how the same method now behaves differently depending on what we pass in. Name here. Name here is a parameter. Think of it as a variable that only exists inside this method and gets filled in with whatever we pass when we call it. Sometimes we don't just want a method to do something. We want it to give us a back value we can use. For that, we replace void with the actual type we are returning. For example, let me write this code. Int at a int b turn. Instead of void, we wrote here int, meaning this method promises to hand back the back a whole number. And instead of just printing something, we use the return keyword to send the value back to whoever called it. So let's implement this method and use it. Int result here add maybe 5 and 10, and console.writeLine result, or we can use it directly at 10, 20 and 30. So let's run this. 15 and 50. Yes, we can store the returned value in a variable like result here, or use it directly like in the second line. Yes, where we pass it straight to right line function. This really common pattern you'll use constantly. What if we want an add method that works with different types or different number of arguments? C# lets us define multiple versions of the same method. This is called overloading. So before doing that, let me open one class. Actually, we're gonna talk about classes later on the next videos, but I need to I need the class to show the overloading here. Public static, and don't much worry about if you don't get the ideas or don't get the code in the class bracket or class calculator. I'm gonna explain one by one. Yes, int a int b turn a plus b public static. Oh, like that. And then uh, all three methods are named add. As you can see, add, add, and add. But C# tells them apart by their parameters, either the types or the number of them. When you call add, C# automatically picks the right version based on what you pass in. Let's try this. As you can see here, we are calling here the first method because we are just giving the 5 and 10. And on the second line, we are calling the second because as a parameter we are giving when we call three values, and it's the second function. And whenever we are calling this add, it's actually this one because we are using double value. Instead of overloading every time, sometimes it's simpler to give a parameter a default value and making it optional. For example, I'm going to show the code here. Oh, let's just comment it. For example, let's assume the situation. For example, here we can make the parameter optional here. Greeting, hello, and name. And we can write console.writeLine, greeting, name, yes, here, and greet Alex, greet John, hi. Let's run this code. Oh, hello Alex and hi John. As you can see here, whenever we called with Alex, we didn't give any value for greeting parameter, but it's on default it gets the value hello and it's returning hello Alex. And whenever we call this here with John, it's setting the name parameter as John and hi and greeting parameter as hi. So if you don't provide a value for greeting, it falls back to hello default automatically, but we can still override it if we want. And let me show another example. Void, oh, not just delete it. Here, void, wait, user, main, main, city, main city, console, right line name, city, city, wait, user, user 8. And here we can do something like that. Name, Alex, city, New York. Normally, argument order matters, yes, but with named arguments, as you can see here, we are explicitly saying name argument, city argument, and an age argument. With named arguments, we can specify exactly which parameter each value goes to and even record them and reorder them. This makes calls more readable, especially with methods that keep several parameters. So whenever you hesitate it, you can call first name and then set value. So let's run this. As you can see, name Alex, age 30, and city New York. Yes, done. What if you don't know in advance how many values someone will pass in? That's what params is for. So let's assume this function that's gonna calculate the sum of some numbers, yes? But we don't know how many numbers will come all along. We're gonna write params and int some number. Don't worry if you don't get what's int and these square brackets. I'm gonna explain about arrays in the next lessons. Just understand what just params means here, okay? Int total equal 0 for each int number in numbers, total plus number, return total. Yeah. As you learned the for each, we can use here for each, and that means number inside these lots of numbers, we are getting each single number inside a numbers array, okay? With params, we can pass in as many or as few numbers as we like, and they'll get collected into array we can loop over, okay? So let's run this code and let's use. For running, we need to also right line sum this one and also right line sum all. As you can see here, in the previous code, we gave exactly parameters. For example, when we have the parameters with two values, we had to give these two values. But as you can see here, in the first call, we are giving 5 parameters, and the second call, we are giving 3 parameters. That's why it's useful to use parameters when you don't know how many values the user will give to your function. So let's run the code and see the output. And it's 15 and 60 because the summation from 1 to 5 it would be 15 and these ones would be 60. Yes. Last part, these three are a bit more advanced, but important to know exist. Normally, when you pass a variable into a method, you are passing a copy of it. Changes inside the method don't affect the original reference change, but by using the ref keyword, you can change that. For example, here we can use void double int number equals, or we can use here and int value 2. Yes, and double value. Yes, double value and console dot readline value. And let's run this. But before running, what do you think we get whenever we console dot readline value? Do you think 2 or 4? Yes, we got 2. But why? Why? I'm going to explain it to you. Whenever we give int number, we are just giving the number itself, not its reference. And it's just multiplying the number by 2 and then just updating new value here, not returning it, or not by changing the reference as where the number is located. And whenever we initialize our value, by 2 and we just give this function, it just calculates some number and then doubles it, but we don't get this value back. So whenever we run the console.writeline value, we are still getting 2. But what if we use here ref keyword? Everything changes, and we will give here ref value. Yes, and whenever we call this function now, as you can see, it's 4. Why? Because with ref keyword, it tells the computer that find the memory space that this integer number, this variable, allocates, and change its value by multiplying it 2 and then assign it. And here also we are not giving value itself, we are giving the memory location of it. So we can change by that. With ref keyword, the method works directly on the original variable, not a copy. Next, out is a similar but used specially when a method needs to return value throughout a parameter, often alongside a normal return value. So let's see the example with out also. Void divide int a int b and out int result. Oops, result here and ab. Okay, divide out int answer. Yes, console dot write line answer. So let's see the output. Nothing or 5. Yes. Oh, 5. Yes, because we call 10 and 2. Because here, what out is doing is it's just how can I say it's something like war answer and here like something like that. Got me? It just creates a new variable for you. It just creates a new variable for you, and without initializing any new variable, you can get that variable without using any space, because we predefine it in variable. It says itself out int result. You can call whatever you want, answer, result, or whatever you want. That's out keyword is used. And finally, in is the opposite intention of ref keyword. It passes a reference for performance reasons, but guarantees the method can't modify it. You won't use this one often as a beginner, but you'll see it in some code base. So let me show the code or tie together all of the things we learned together. Double calculator, double width, double 8, turn 8, white, int area report, string, shape name, double area. Console.run area of shape is something like that. Yes, double rectangle area equals calculate area, maybe 5 and 3, and print area report double square area. Oops, square area, calculate area, print report square area. So let's run our code. The area of rectangle is 15, the area of square is 16. Yeah, that's working. Here's a small example that uses everything we covered. One method calculates something and returns a value. Another method that just takes the value of and does something with it. This is exactly how a real programs worked, a structured, small, focused methods working together. So that's for our today's lesson, and I'm gonna give you a small mini challenge. Before we move on, try writing a method called isEven that takes an integer and returns a bool, true if the number is even, false if it's odd. Then write a few console.writeline calls testing it with different numbers. Today, we covered how to define methods, pass parameters, return values, overload methods, use optional and named arguments, handle a variable, number of arguments with params, and got a first look at ref keyword, out keyword, and in. Methods are one of the most important building blocks in programming. You'll use them constantly from here on out. Next time we are moving into arrays, how to store and work with collections of data. See you there. Take care.